what's it called? I'll join back and we'll be good. I just want to move it so we can see the banner.
Yeah, so you can see all the socials. Oh, tell you what, my legs are exhausted.
Well, yeah, I mean, shit, you're
not used to it anymore.
Balling. Who do y'all play with on Wednesdays?
Just a bunch of. I'm sorry, I was driving when you messaged me.
You're good.
Just some kids that go to the gym it's at.
Gotcha.
It's fun.
Yeah, I was trying to find some more places where I could play because I like going on Sundays, but I haven't been able to find anything around me.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a membership, it's we play every Wednesday, but it's like $50 a month. Plus, it's a drive for you.
Yeah, true. That is very true. Hello, Luis. Welcome in. Fist bumps
hey,
to Luis. Beast. Just changing the background. This is going up as a pod too, so you'll have to watch me do the whole intro so we can edit it nicely.
How the sausage is made.
I'm finishing the background first, and it's got to be a GIF. So hold on with me for just a minute. We'll see.
Let me actually
this is done.
Comments instead of the brand.
Sounds good. We will get into Celtics talk briefly. I am just changing, like I said, the background. We are waiting.
How do you want to do this, Jack? Do you want to start with after the intro, the stories and stuff, or do you want to save that since it's a stream? We can do it at the back.
Whatever.
Because I got something that while we do this.
Yeah.
While we do this, I'm gonna make sure I can find this thing that I saw today because
hello, Phil. Welcome, Phil. Fist bumps in the chat.
Hello, Phil. Hey. All right, let's see.
Take a look. All right, new background is loading. Let me see if it'll work. Come on. Chugging along here, StreamYard. Come on now. You can do it. How do we look? How's the background looking? Can we see the banner at the bottom now? Beautiful. Alrighty. We're good to go. Ready to rumble. So I'm ready when you are, and we can do the intro and we can get into the show.
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready whenever.
All right. Ready, chat? We're going to do the show intro, the podcast intro, jump into it, and we'll be good to go. All right. Excuse me. And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording live on Wednesday, January 25th. That's right. This is a live show. If you're watching on YouTube, which you should be, you see the live background. We are here live on YouTube. Luis is in the chat with the fist bumps. Phil is in the chat with the fist bumps. That is the thing we do on the live. So make sure to stop on by and check it out. If you're on listening platforms, head on over to YouTube. You'll catch us live a couple times a week. Also live before every Celtics game, which you should know by now. So join on up, subscribe to the YouTube, and you can enjoy the lives, and I'll let Sam plug the SeatGeek since we should do that at the beginning.
Oh, yes.
Go right into that. Hit it up.
And it's scrolling. Looking to get yourself tickets to a Celtics game or other event? Head over to SeatGeek and use promo code HBTC to save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Let us help you go see what you want to see. HBTC. How about them Celtics? Use it at checkout. On your first purchase, you will get $20 off.
Hell yeah. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We usually do stories at the beginning. You want to do those at the end today?
We'll get a crowd for these.
All right. So, I mean, 2 tough losses for the Celtics. I can imagine the chat is not very happy. I know Sam was not very happy last night, texting me after the Celtics lost to the Heat. Do you want to start with Magic or Heat? Because I think those are the 2 big ones we need to talk about on here.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, we can lump them in because I wrote my post-game article for Celtics blog last night. If you read it, I wrote Boston's effectively, like, the line was the last possession in the Heat game. And when I say last possession, I mean the Jayson Tatum possession, not Peyton Pritchard's 3, which would have been electric if it went in. But Jayson Tatum's turnover, last possession, it was kind of like just all of their issues from the Florida road trip were compounded into one ugly possession. It was very fitting the way the game ended, right? The Celtics had it. 14-point, I believe it was, third quarter lead. They blew it in the fourth. The offense went stagnant. They couldn't beat the zone, which I'm sure Sam will rant about momentarily. But it kind of happened in the Magic game. They couldn't get the offense going. And then it happened again in the fourth quarter of the Heat game. And it all culminated in that one moment where Jayson Tatum turned the ball over. And you can blame Mazzulla for not calling a timeout if you want. Should he have called it when Jayson Tatum got trapped? Maybe. You can blame Tatum for throwing the pass that led to the Tyler Hero turnover. Absolutely. But all in all, the Celtics should never have been in that position in the first place. And before Sam goes on his rant, like I said, which I know he will, yes, the Celtics, it was a bonus for them to be in that game because they didn't have Smart, they didn't have Jalen, they didn't have Brogdon, they didn't have Horford. But once you get in that position to collapse the way they did, that's where the issue lies, in my opinion. And I know Sam's going to say the same thing. And first of all, before Sam rant, Landon here just in time to hear Sam rant in the chat, fist bumps. So I'll let you have the floor, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, you really kind of nailed it on the head. That's my whole thing always, is if you're there, do something about it. Does this loss mean the season's over? No. Does it mean that they're not championship contenders? No. Does it annoy the hell out of me? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. Both of them do, and I'll tell you why. Those are two games, despite all of the players that were out, your injuries, ailments, whatever. You should have won.
Yeah.
You should have won both of them. Especially that Miami game. Miami was dead.
Yeah.
They didn't look like they had a prayer in that game, and you let them come all the way back, rip off a 15-0 run to take the lead in the fourth quarter, and you looked like you brain melted because they put a zone on. This has been the thing for, what is it going to be? This is going to be the fourth season.
Same problem.
Fourth season that they have struggled against this Miami team when they play zone. It happened in the bubble. And since then, they have not been able to crack it. What's the problem? You put me out there, I'll shoot from the free throw line. Figure it out. You're in the NBA. You shouldn't panic when you see a zone. They absolutely melted. They missed bunnies. They turned the ball over. Unacceptable. They shot 3 of 14 in the last 8 minutes of that game. Terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. Eric Spoelstra, yeah, I mean, good coach. I don't know
he
if
is a
this
good coach. There's no doubt.
I think Luis is taking a shot at Joe Mazzulla with this comment. For the audio listeners, Luis commented, Miami has a solid coach. Joe Mazzulla, after the game, did talk about the zone. He said, just manage the zone offense for that segment. Mazzulla said, taking blame for not organizing the offense. They went into their zone, and we just didn't have the spacing we needed. We didn't get the looks we should have. I thought we had the right personnel on the floor against the zone. We just didn't get the looks we should have gotten on a few of those, and that led to some of the transition. So if you want to blame Mazzulla for not organizing them, sure. But at the same time, the Celtics have seen this time and time again. And absolutely, I said this when I made my first statement. Having Smart, having Brogdon, having Horford in those spots would be huge. Horford at the having him at the nail to run the offense is important. Having Smart and Brogdon with the ball in their hands, that would have absolutely helped. But Jayson Tatum is at the point in his career where he should be able to handle that. Derek White helped a little bit, but when Jayson Tatum came back in, the ball was in his hands because they needed him to be that offensive initiator and score those points. But when the zone came out, they just, like Sam said, they just kind of melted. They didn't really do anything, and it was very ugly. In my eyes, Luis says, Celtics can do no wrong. Any Celtics chat.
See, I am the king of, like, I am always the guy to be like, the Celtics are the better team. Like, I always believe in them, and I always have green glasses when it comes to that. Yeah. But other than that, I'm like a disappointed, strict father. I expect everything out of them, and when they don't do it, I get real pissed.
Yeah,
like, I'm sorry. Orlando is not a team that you should be losing 3 games to.
No.
What are you going to do? I mean, you it happened. You lost.
It happens every year.
You can't sit and pout.
There's always one team every year, it seems like the Celtics just struggle against. I mean, I'll check 2 years ago. I know last year it was the Pistons. What was 2 years ago?
2 years ago, they just sucked. The Celtics were terrible.
Season.
They were terrible.
Okay, what about the year before? 2019-20 Celtics schedule, ESPN. Like, I guarantee you, excuse me, there would have been one team that they just lost, like, the season series against. 1-3, 0-4, something like that. Just like a bad team that they struggled against. Because it seems like every year they have that team. Pulling up the schedule here as it loads.
That Miami team, have they won 14 out of 21 going into yesterday's game? Yeah, they've been solid. That doesn't mean you should have lost that game. They had nothing going, and you let them get going. You stopped having good offense. You stopped having good flow. You didn't move the ball. I mean, Tatum didn't see any shots down the stretch until the very end. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, it's tough. My thing is, But ahead of the game, I thought it was going to be an uphill battle, right? Like even with Jimmy Butler out,
I
Bam
don't
Adebayo's
care.
there.
I don't care
I know.
what it was before the game. If you're
You
up
didn't
10
let
in
me
the
finish my
fourth, you shouldn't
sentence.
lose.
You have
I
to
don't
let me finish
care.
my sentence. You have to let me finish my sentence. I said before the game, it was understandable. Like, okay, if the Celtics lose this game, it's not the end of the world. They're down 4 players, 4 rotational players, 3 starters. But once you get to the point you're at and you play a successful 3 quarters of basketball, you just can't collapse the way they did. That's what I was going to say. So I was going to go into your point. But yeah, checking out the chat here. Luis saying, I have faith, but we also haven't seen Joe in the playoffs. But of course, I want 18. Luis, I'm going to counter you with, you didn't see Ime in the playoffs before the playoffs last year, right? Like, I don't know. He can't magically spawn in the playoffs, right? Like, you can't have seen Joe in the playoffs until it actually happens because he's a first-year head coach. And at that point, you're saying, like, the Celtics should never have a first-year head coach. Like, yeah, it would be ideal if Greg Popovich or Eric Spoelstra or you had that type of player or coach with the Celtics, but you don't. And so you kind of have to roll with the punches. And it's, I don't know. It's not really fair. I don't think it's really fair to have a criticism of Joe Mazzulla saying, well, you haven't seen him in the playoffs yet, because like he hasn't really had the chance to be seen in the playoffs yet. Louis saying that last year, Jack, I don't exactly know what you mean by this. Expand upon it. I'm just confused as to what that means, but I don't think it's
He's
a fair
saying that's
criticism.
last year.
Oh,
Let's focus on this year.
well, yeah, but like I said, you can't really judge somebody for not having done it in the playoffs when they haven't had the chance to do it in the playoffs.
As much as I don't like to blame the coach or be skeptical of the coach, he has
Yeah.
somewhat of a point, just because there is room
What's
to
the point?
criticize decisions he's making in
Like what?
this, not calling timeouts. Like this is not a yesterday thing. This is a throughout the season. Not even.
I thought he called good timeouts yesterday. Outside of the
He was
last moment,
fine. I
like
don't
he
really
called fine
care.
timeouts. I think it's
Yesterday,
been
I
a
was
lot
not
better
pissed at
lately.
Mazzulla. If
Yeah.
you want to be pissed at Mazzulla, be pissed that they melted against the zone and he didn't really necessarily make any adjustments.
Also,
But he's
Luis,
not the one out there playing.
exactly. And Luis, you can absolutely criticize. I just don't think a fair criticism is we haven't seen him in the playoffs, because obviously you haven't seen him in the playoffs. He hasn't played in the playoffs. But I mean, criticize all you want. I only care about in-game adjustments. That's it. Yeah. And last night was a bad example, or excuse me, not a bad example, but a bad game for Mazzulla in in-game adjustments. He said it after the game. He said, I didn't do enough during the game to help the Celtics break the zone. Jayson Tatum also took blame for it. A lot of people took blame for it. I don't think there was any shying away for that blame. They sucked, right? It's when the zone went out there, they didn't have an answer, and that was a big problem. But I think they addressed it. And outside of that, this year, I haven't really seen much to complain about personally. And there absolutely, excuse me, should be or can be criticisms if you want to point them out. I just don't think I've seen enough. Like the timeouts, if you want to criticize Mazzulla for the timeouts, sure, I'll back you on that one. If you want to criticize the, in-game adjustments in that Miami game specifically, sure. But like overall, like they have the best record in the NBA. And if you want to look at the Orlando series and say, oh, he didn't make adjustments to beat the Magic, like I guess sure, but at the same time, I attribute most of those Magic losses to the Celtics just not playing hard enough. And you can say that's on Mazzulla to hype him up, but again, like Sam always says, he's not the one on the court. And as much as like the Celtics should be playing hard in those games, I don't know. It's just like I don't blame Mazzulla for those Orlando losses. Blaming Mazzulla for not making in-game adjustments against the Heat, I'll back you up on that one. Yes, you would have liked to see that, but he took accountability for it, and I just don't. I don't know. Sam knows this, and I think he's the same way. I hate the blame the coach angle. I just think it's personally not talking about you, Luis, and specifically. I'm just talking about in general. I always have found it pretty like I don't know, whack.
It's just it's the easy way out. It's lazy, and in all seriousness, the Orlando game is not something that you should pin on Mazzulla. Those guys not playing hard is them. It's not him. He really can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
He can only do so much from the sidelines. The Miami game, if you want to pin it on him, you can a little bit just because of the absolute collapse they had, and there really wasn't any adjustment made. Like, if you're giving up a big time run in the fourth quarter like that, you need to call a timeout maybe.
He did. After when it was 10-0, once they scored like 3 buckets in a row, he said, okay, timeout, and he brought it back. And then they just continued to do ass.
I don't know.
Right? Like,
it was frustrating. That to me is just
I
one
only
place
know
you
that
can point the finger.
I only know that because I wrote about it, and I was like, okay, he did call other timeouts in the game, but he didn't call in the last possession. So
I don't care about the last possession. That doesn't bother me.
Sure.
That one didn't piss me off.
I will say it did piss me off. Tatum should have just made an easy pass there. He tried to do too much, which it is what it is. Like this isn't like me being overly mad, but like he had Derek White open on the wing. He had Rob on the roll. There was room to work, and they still did have a little bit of time to get something done. And they also, I also think they went a little bit too slow for what they were trying to do. But again, these are just nitpicky at the end there. Luis in the chat saying, excuse me. So that's just how my criticism is tied to the playoff, Jack. Of course, I'm skeptical about adjustments win series. I know, but I'm saying I have only seen this issue in like maybe 1 or 2 games this year, right? Like, I don't think it's been a consistent thing with Joe Mazzulla. Like, I think Mazzulla's like ATOs and stuff like that. Like, I think he's been pretty good this year. I think he's developed. I mean, clearly they're one of the best offenses in the league. Like, he's developed a game plan that works pretty well. And you can only point to, like, I'm pretty sure, aren't the Magic the only team that's like won the season series against the Celtics, or the Bulls have also won?
Bulls,
the Bulls and the Cavs.
Cavs are up 2-0.
Bulls are up there as well. But like for the most part, like most of the good teams, the teams you're going to see in the playoffs, the Celtics have played well, right? Like Cavs, they struggled with, and I mean, you can point to it here. I'm looking. I know Landon talked about it. Excuse me, athletic teams have seemed to give the Celtics problems, but at the same time, I mean, again, I'm not trying to make excuses because there have been issues, and I'll admit that. Like those Cavs games and those early Bull games, you didn't have Rob, right? Like you're missing your big athletic, center that you need to combat that. But also, hello to Ben in the chat. Fist bumps from Landon to Ben. We appreciate y'all. But no, yeah, I totally understand the Mazzulla criticism, especially after that Miami game. He deserves a lump of it for sure. But overall in the season,
just frustrating game. You shouldn't have lost it. Mm-hmm. Should not lose that game when you're up like that. I don't care if it's me and the boys out there.
I agree. Once you're in the position where the Celtics put themselves in, I don't think it's acceptable to lose the game. Like, I mean, like I said, and I'm repeating myself here. Welcome back. I'm repeating myself here. Like going in, if you want to level your expectations because they're down, guys, sure. But once you put yourself in the position where you're up by 14 in the fourth, and the offense, I mean, the offense was holding its own without Tatum, and when Tatum was in, it was dominant. You can't let one adjustment from Erik Spoelstra hurt that, and that's what happened. Hello, Dad, in the chat. Fist bumps. So yeah, I think that's where the main issue against the Heat lies. As far as the Magic, it's just like Sam says, it's not something you should be, getting overly upset over or like wasting the success of the rest of the season. It's just frustrating seeing them struggle against these lower level teams. And I found schedules from previous years. I'm trying to see like potential teams they've struggled with. Like the last good team, before last year, the prior best Celtics team would be 1920 in the bubble. And I'm trying to find teams that they lost to multiple times. Like they lost, I guess that year was the Rockets with James Harden, so that would be fine. I'm trying to see which teams were bad that they struggled against. I mean, they lost to the Kings. That was bad. They lost to the Nets twice, and I'm pretty sure most of those Nets teams didn't have KD playing and or Kyrie playing, so that's games you probably shouldn't be losing. Right? Like every year there are going to be losses where you struggle against a bad team. And the Celtics these past 2 years have just consistently struggled against specific bad teams. So I think that kind of increases the narrative or makes it out to worse than it is. Like if the Celtics dropped one game against the Magic, one game against the Pistons, and one game against the Rockets, right, we're probably not talking about it as much. But since it came against the same Magic team who gave them the same issues and caused the same problems, I think that's where you start to get the repetitiveness that gets really frustrating. And it's a valid frustration because when you can't get over that mental hump against a Magic team that is at the bottom of the standing, it's just kind of weird. I wouldn't say it's like upsetting or concerning. I would just say it's weird and it's annoying more than anything.
It's frustrating for me. I got to tell you that. I mean, you have a gutsy win against the Raptors, your bench shows out, then you go into Orlando.
2 good wins.
Yeah, but the Raptors game, they had nobody. That's the point of that. They had nobody. Tatum, there was they had the crutch, the same crutch they had in the 2 games they lost, and they not only won, but had a gutsy performance to close the game.
Yeah.
Whatever happened between that game and the next 2, fix it. Because in the fourth quarter, you collapsed. That's concerning. Nothing concerns me more than watching them collapse in the fourth quarter.
It's frustrating.
Before this season, I was a big advocate for betting against them when they were up and taking the Celtics insurance. And I haven't done it this year.
They've been better
because they've been so good. Yesterday, I thought about it. I said no, and here I am. Annoyance and no money in my pocket. because
frustrating.
they just went out there and melted. They saw the guys on Miami standing there and not playing man-to-man. They said, oh, no, what do we do?
Bad.
Whatever should we do?
Catching up with the chat, Landon saying I had zero faith something good was going to happen as Tatum headed down the court on that last play. I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
I didn't care.
But, it was frustrating.
Either make a 3 or call it a day. Did not want to watch any more of it. Game was that was a terrible game throughout like 3 quarters.
It was very ugly. The refs made it really bad. Not blaming the refs for the loss, but like there were too many whistles for both sides. It was just
agree.
Poor.
Terrible. It was terrible from the beginning.
This isn't like Celtics screwed the refs screwed the Celtics.
Screwed themselves.
This is the refs screwed the game, right? Like you got Miami and Boston, 2 very physical teams, and they just decided there was going to be no physicality in this game. It was very annoying. Again, catching up in the chat, Phoenix saying that Bam dude is pretty good. No shame considering the injuries. We talked about this.
Big
like
shame.
Going in,
massive shame.
Going in, you can say this, but
Don't
with the
care.
way they played, you should have won.
Don't care.
Phoenix saying another factor to consider as the talent pool in the league is the best it's ever been. I think he's talking about the losses to bad teams. And as much as you don't want the Celtics to lose to Magic, and they shouldn't lose to the Magic, there have been a lot of good teams losing to bad teams this year. Like you're seeing that a lot around the league. The Thunder are coming up. You got
it's not that they lost to them, it's how they lost. They melted in the fourth quarter.
The consistency with how they lost in the same way, I think, is the problem. Landon saying the win against Golden State was accidental. It felt like that. It really felt like that. Luis saying Woj on TV talking about Miami the Bucks are in runner for crowding Miami as well. We can talk about trade market briefly. I do want to catch up with a couple more things.
Should we go back to the big bomb from Chris Haynes yesterday?
Oh my God!
All the new information.
Chris Haynes.
Poor Tim. Poor Tim. I gave him such a hard time for bringing that up yesterday on the stream.
That was rude. It was very funny.
Chris Haynes, who reported all these things that we already knew.
Yes. Ben Rhodes in the chat. Very hard with injuries and to get up for 82 games, not excusing. Still want to win every game. Yeah, I guess I understand. Like they're not going to win every game. It's just the way
a year from today, this won't matter, but today it matters.
Exactly. Then we have 2 comments. I want to talk about this first before we get into trade and buyout. Grant and Hauser concerning me somewhat, but still want to see how they perform at home. And then Landon saying, how do we feel about Grant since his pay Grant game 2 games ago? Grant has not had a good 2 games here. Grant has not played well. He looked rough the other night. I mean, he was a team high plus minus. He made some shots, but like Luis mocking Sam for mocking Tim, putting in his 2 weeks. Grant was bad. Grant has a tendency, I think he's shown that he can do a lot more, but when he gets into the middle of space and doesn't have a plan, he has a tendency to lose it. And he's not had a good 2 games. At the same time, though, I don't like the essence of this idea. Like, how do we feel about Grant since 2 games ago? Like, people have bad 2 games, right? Like this isn't like an overarching issue with Grant. But Grant was really bad twice. He was bad against Orlando. He was bad against Miami. But at the same time,
it makes Brad Stevens look good because he didn't pay him.
But that's what I'm saying. Are we going to take these specific 2 games and outweigh them with like the excellence of the rest of the season? Like Grant's been great this year. Let's not like shortchange it. Like Grant has been really good this year and he's been earning a big payday. Like, are these 2 games concerning? Sure, in the short term, like you want him to improve on these specific aspects of like you can't be doing so much, you can't be doing that. But like this is ridiculous. He's come down $5 million in 2 days. Like
pay him $5.
You know what I'm saying though. Like you got everyone has.
He's not an MVP player. He's a guy.
You're gonna have bad games.
You're going to get inconsistent play from somebody like Grant, especially when guys are out and he's asked to like create shots.
This is like what Marcus tries to do. Exactly. He was taking on a larger role, and that's not his role, right? Like he's not going to be the
he doesn't have enough experience yet. It's funny. We always talk about Marcus doing it, but it seems this year when he's had to do it, he's actually been pretty good. Like,
yeah, he has.
That Nets game, for example, when Jaylen Brown was out and Durant was out for Brooklyn, Marcus stepped up big time, had a monster game. You don't really see that from Grant. he doesn't really do that, except for in Toronto.
Yeah, well, he's never really been asked to, like you said, so he doesn't have experience. Doing that. Landon
Luis saying he's a 7th, 8th man. That's not $20 million. Well, here's the thing.
Yeah,
the Celtics can pay Grant, and they can't spend that money anywhere else. So if it's me, just pay him. I mean, you're just gonna lose him for nothing. Why not pay him?
We're also talking about, you're saying he's a 7th, 8th man. That's not $20 million. He will add some context.
Well, not to every team.
Yeah, exactly. He's a 7th, 8th man on the Celtics. You put Grant on the Pacers, he's their like 3rd best player, 4th best player, right? And I'm not saying like, obviously from the perspective of Celtics fans, everyone should want to win. Everyone should want to be in the best position to win. But if you're Grant Williams and you have the option to go be a 3rd or 4th best player on a playoff team and earn 20 million versus being the 7th or 8th best player on a championship team, but only making 15 million, you have some real options to weigh. Right. And obviously, like Sam said, the Celtics can pay him whatever. They can match his contract. So that's important. But it's less about what should the Celtics be willing to pay him and more about what should the Celtics be willing to match. Because I'm telling you now, there are going to be teams offering Grant a lot of money. Right. And if the Celtics lose Grant, they can't bring him, like, they can't spend that money elsewhere. Like, they can do a sign and trade, right? If they want to send Grant to the Pacers and say, okay, we'll take back Buddy Hield or something like that, right? But at that point, and obviously I'm not vouching for that, this is just an example, right? There are only so many players in the league who can shoot 42% from 3, right? Who can play make off the bounce, which he struggled with in the past 2 games, but he's been very good at overall this season.
Grant
Right?
throwing passes to the crowd.
Yeah, right. Who can defend multiple positions. And Luis saying we have Justin Jackson will be fine in the chat. There's a very stark difference between Justin Jackson and Grant Williams. I really think you can't let Grant walk. I think that would be a huge mistake for the Celtics. And obviously I'm a Grant fan, Sam, so help me out here. Like,
no, it's true. There are important pieces
Mhm.
to winning teams. Just look at Golden State.
Yeah.
Okay, last year they won the finals. This year they're not 500. Why are they below 500? Well,
they let pieces
they
go.
lost key rotation players,
Gary
and
Payton.
they weren't able to replace them.
Gary
So
Payton,
if you let
Otto
Grant
Porter,
walk,
Bielitsa. Yeah.
if you let Grant walk this season, who are you going to replace him with? That's
Nobody.
the question. Nobody.
And
Gallinari? No.
Landon saying more about how the Celtics say goodbye when he says 20 million. Like,
I don't think they're going to do that. It just
And
doesn't
I
make
think
sense. What are you going to do with the 20 million? You can't do anything with it.
Nothing. It
You're going to
evaporates.
sign and
Gone.
trade him?
Goodbye.
Who are you going to sign and trade him for? Nobody.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm busting balls, but seeing Grant make more than White and Smart would be weird.
I think they make about that, all of them.
You also have to consider, like, the Celtics got Smart on a really good deal. And I've seen people talk about Grant Williams versus Robert Williams, and you can't pay him more than Rob, but you also have to add the context of Rob was coming off injury. So the Celtics got
when the Celtics paid Rob, he had not played a full season. Still hasn't.
Exactly.
But, I want to talk about this really, really quick, Jack, that we can bounce back. Ben saying rumors over here at Fenway Sports Group not putting money into Liverpool FC because they're after a Las Vegas NBA franchise. Tell you what, Fenway Sports Group raising hell over here too because they own the Red Sox. People are not happy with John Henry and the fellas. I got to tell you that, and that rat LeBron.
Hard to blame them.
They are not paying people, and they got booed at their little event over the weekend and edited out of the TV stream. If you didn't hear about that, I would recommend I'll send you something to listen to if you're interested. But yeah, not good. People not happy with them. Good news for all the Boston fans. Celtics, Bruins, Wagons, both of them. Celtics less so the last 2 days.
Patriots.
Cares. Stop talking about the Patriots. They're bad. They're going to be bad.
Landon helping us out, just giving you guys something to talk about. Appreciate you. And yeah, just Boston Balls. We appreciate the content. We're here for all the talk. But right now, Malcolm, you're talking about contracts. Jayson Tatum, obviously 30 mil, Jaylen Brown 28, Horford 26. That's going to go down to 10 next year for Horford, which is a great. We don't have to talk about this. What a phenomenal contract for Al Horford for the next 2 years, right? 10 mil and then 9.5, like absolute steal of a deal. Malcolm Brogdon making 22.6, then 22.5, 22.5 for the 2 years after that. Marcus Smart making 17.2, 18.5, 19.9, then 21.3. That's going to be a good contract. And it sounds weird to say Marcus Smart, $20 million players, but you have to remember at that point in 2024, 2025, the cap is going to go skyrocket way up there. So that's going to be a smaller fraction of it. Derek White, 16.8, 18.1, 19.3. Again, with the cap increasing, that's going to be huge. And then, I mean, Robert Williams, this contract is absurd. 10.9, 11.8, 12.6,
that's the craziest
13.5. Absolutely absurd. So ideally you'd have Grant Williams, because you have to remember teams are going to be willing to pay more because he is 24, like he's young. Teams are going to overpay because he still has room to grow, right? So like you're going to see like 18 to 20 million, which would slot him in right around the Marcus Smart, Malcolm Brogdon range of contracts. So it's going to be weird, obviously, but teams are going to pay him, and it's less about what you think the Celtics should pay their eighth man and more about what you like other teams overpaying for him and the Celtics matching. So
there's going to be somebody. The Knicks. I
the
saw. I think it was
Pacers, the
Landon put him in
Knicks.
there. Knicks will pay him 120 over 4
It's funny.
years, like something like that. It's true though. Like that's the type of thing the Knicks do. That's why they're bad.
Yeah, I agree. Luis in the comments, John Henry with his rich people problems, like Jackson
John
Parker
Henry,
today.
who said to the fans, "It's expensive to own baseball players or pay baseball players," whatever he said. Like
Yeah,
he was like,
loser.
"That's why we're not paying people."
Loser. Luis saying, does big Grant payday play a part in paying the Jays? Probably
No.
not.
Those guys are getting as much money as they possibly can get.
Technically,
they
yes,
get whatever.
in the sense they'll have to pay more taxes, but like it doesn't
Who
affect their
cares?
ability
Don't
to
care.
re-sign them. They'll be able to bring him back.
Could not care less about the taxes.
Phoenix in the chat. As Jack was saying about the cap, the next CBA is going to be huge, man. These $20 million contracts are going to be looking like $14 million deals relative to the cap inflation. This is absolutely true as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, I talk about it all the time, like a $20 million contract now versus, like 10 years ago, that was a max deal, right? Like we really have to put into context how much the cap is increasing. Like $20 million now is a high level role player, which Grant Williams is, right? You can't keep it in the context of that is a third best player in your team, right? So, yeah, Phoenix also saying, yeah, I would lock up a lot of guys now in long-term deals. The value of those deals are going to be crazy. Absolutely, right? And
well, that's why it's even dumber that they didn't pay him before the season. Because what was the number that came out, Jack? I think you wrote about it on Heavy a while back. It was like, what, 15 max is what he wanted?
Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype, I think, said Grant, and I don't necessarily believe this, but he reported that Grant would have accepted 14 mil a season.
Yeah.
AAV.
Are you serious? You didn't pay him that? The guy scored 27 points for you in a playoff game at Game 7.
Uh-huh.
Now, it doesn't mean you should give him the world, but it means he's worth paying and worth keeping around. He's definitely somebody that plays an important role for you. Did he show up in the finals? Maybe not, but he's been really solid for you the last 2 seasons now. He does just about everything you can ask of him. Why would you not have paid him?
You have to understand this context too. Excuse me, sorry. In my opinion, outside of Grant Williams, who you have to extend this year, and Jaylen Brown, who you have to extend next year, Jayson Tatum under team control through 2024-25, and then a player option for the next year. Al Horford under team control through 2024-25. Brogdon 2024-25. Smart 2025-26. White 2024-25. Rob Williams 2025-26. Like Sam Hauser 2024-25 on a cheap deal, right? So like the Celtics have a core together that will be here for this season, next year, and the year after, and then Jayson Tatum, Marcus Smart, and Robert Williams on a contract another year after that. So they have a long window, and giving up a core piece of the puzzle this early on in said window, I think just would be a massive mistake, especially when there is no money and there's no real way to replace him. Like there's not going to be another 40% 3-point shooter who can defend multiple positions and play his role the way Grant does. And I know I'm sounding like the biggest Grant fan in the world here, but like there really isn't a lot of players in the league who can do that effectively. We're talking like him, PJ Tucker last year, not this year.
Yeah, PJ right? Tucker doesn't score anymore.
Cam Johnson, who the Suns still aren't paying. You know what I'm saying? Like there are very few
players tell you what,
who are great at this role.
Had they extended Grant before the season, not only is that a great contract because it allows you to be flexible with other guys if you want to avoid the tax or whatever, but if you decide for whatever reason you don't want to keep Grant around after a while, you know how valuable that kind of contract for a player like him would be in a trade?
Yeah.
Teams would be ringing the phone off the hook to try and get Grant from you. It's like when Jay Crowder was on the Celtics and everybody would always talk about how valuable Crowder was because he was really giving them a lot and he wasn't making any money.
Who'd they trade Crowder for again?
He was in the Kyrie trade, the rat.
I know. I just want to hear you talk about Kyrie.
He's bad. He's rat.
I've said this multiple times. As much as I love Isaiah, if they had kept Jay Crowder in that trade and they had that extra depth going, like I think that would have been more important almost. Like because I think they really missed Jay Crowder and that 3-and-D presence in those years with Kyrie and Gordon, especially with Gordon Hurd.
I mean, Isaiah wouldn't have been playing.
Well, yeah, but
and
I'm
Crowder,
saying like
Crowder didn't want to be on the team anymore because he didn't want to play off the bench.
I know. There's plenty of issues there, but and like Phoenix is saying, you have Grant's bird rights, so there's really no reason not to pay.
Exactly. That's number one. Like you got all these guys' bird rights. Pay them as much as you want.
Yeah, just give them money.
It doesn't matter. You can pay them whatever. It doesn't. The cap doesn't matter when it comes to bird rights.
Absolutely. Luis in the chat. Long as we pay Luke, we will be fine. Luke's under contract through next year too on a cheap deal.
The funny thing about Luke is you don't have to pay him anything. He's just happy to be there. It's like me.
He's been good, man. I like I said, Luis. I know you don't like him. I've never understood the Luke kid. I think he's played his role really well.
I'll tell you what. I'm not sure why Justin Jackson's on this team. No idea. Played a lot of minutes yesterday. Don't know why.
You know why he played the other night because he had to. He didn't really.
Well, he had to, but still, like, eesh, that guy's terrible.
I was a little bit upset that you didn't see any J.D. Davison or Kevin Gailey minutes. That was a little weird.
I was surprised you didn't see Kevin Gailey against the Heat.
I think you needed an extra guard, right? I know Davison's very young and he hasn't played, but you needed some more ball handling, right? It was just Derek White and Pritchard. They were the only 2-point guards on the floor. But anyways. Luis loves Cornette, says Landon, rolling his eyes. Luis in the chat. You need guys like Luke and Boban for the vibes, and Blake. Blake's been phenomenal for the vibes.
I love Blake because he comes in, does something like a hustle play. Like yesterday, he caught the ball at the free throw line, laying on his back, and then he fucks off. Like he doesn't do anything else. Like it's the best. And I think it was against the Raptors. Like he had some crazy swipe down, dove on the floor for the ball, saved it, created a fast break, and then he didn't do anything else.
Also, very random. Excuse me, but I'm just remembering it now because you were talking about Luke. Luke Cornette got absolutely screwed on a block the other night.
Yeah, I tweeted about it. Bad.
That was so funny. I want to find the replay.
It was again. Oh, who did he block? Was it Highsmith that he blocked?
Maybe it was Orlando Robinson. It might have been the big man. But I remember seeing someone tweet like the ref decided. I think it was Keith Smith. The ref decided it was a foul before Luke even made the play. Right? Because Luke.
Actually, you want to talk about something that's terrible? This was at the very beginning of the Heat game. Derek White takes maybe a corner three, hits the front rim, goes right back to him. He gets the rebound. He then drives, pump fakes, defender jumps, doesn't really touch him. He misses the next shot, hits the front rim, gets it back, puts it up for a layup. The defender didn't jump. I'm sorry. He tried to take a charge. They wait till he makes the layup, then call a foul on the second shot. Second of his 3 shots. And he takes 2 free throws. They took 2 points off the board to give him 2 free throws, and he missed 1.
Oh, was this the Lowry thing?
It might have been Lowry. I don't remember.
Was it Lowry trying to draw a charge in the paint?
Yeah, it was something like that. That was terrible.
A terrible call.
And that is not the first time this season I've seen officials do something like that. Where
it was dumb. It was very dumb.
It might have been the last time they played Miami, actually.
Because the worst part is
points off the board multiple times to make late calls.
The worst part is it wasn't a foul on Lowry, right? Like it should have been nothing. And then they took something away from Luke. So it hurt the Heat and it hurt the Celtics.
Yeah, right? It was like nobody needed that. The referees said we're gonna have a night. That's what they did.
Oh, I have it. I have it from Luke. We'll share the screen here. We're doing some Luke Cornette watching. Again, if you're not watching on YouTube, make sure to watch on YouTube. Check it out here. Actually, let me get the sound up so we'll be good to go. So
we never turned on the music, did we?
We didn't turn on the music. We can now. That's all right, though.
We don't need
That's the end of the world. All right, so here we go. All right, can we see this? Everyone seeing?
Yep, here we go. As you can see, Justin Jackson at center court for no reason.
Victor Oladipo drives, ditches to Orlando Robinson. Luke Cornette, the cleanest block you'll ever see. And then, as Landon said in the chat, he looks to talk to the manager after the play.
He's far from thrilled.
You can't have much cleaner of a block here. There is very minimal body contact. He gets just hand right on the ball, clean block, meets him at the rim, and the ref calls a foul. That horrendous.
You know what the best call of the week was? The foul that they called on Horford on the Wiggins 3 in the last minute of the Warriors game. And then they challenged it and they went back and he didn't touch him and they doubled down.
It was the quickest review ever.
Yeah, they doubled down. They were like, well, this was really bad, but we're just going to say we're sticking to this one.
They didn't double down. They tripled down.
They tripled down the last 2 minutes report. Yeah.
Right? Very brutal. Yeah, Luke hit him with the hey bucko.
You guys ever get called buddy?
Oh, it's painful. Getting called buddy is awful. I hate buddy.
Very, very, not very long ago, a couple years ago, it was a really big thing in the group chat to call each other buddy. And I remember I was working with my man Frank, who Jack knows. He's a very good guy.
Frank's
good guy, Frank. And he was explaining to one of our older coworkers being called buddy, and he could only describe it as degrading.
It's a good way.
It's degrading.
It's a good word for it. Buddy feels bad. You know what the worst is? If like I haven't had this experience because obviously I have a girlfriend, but if like a girl calls you buddy, that's a
I don't really get that. They just don't talk to me.
If my girlfriend
it was fine
buddy,
when the Celtics won 9 in a row, but now they lost a couple in a row. I'm feeling lonely again.
Sam's feeling lonely again.
I'll tell you what, last Friday.
Bud is worse. This is a good idea. Sorry, Bud or Buddy? Bud might be worse. Getting called Bud.
Ooh, I don't like Bud. I don't know. I think everybody knows Buddy's disrespectful, so that makes it even worse.
I don't love Bud either. I don't love Bud.
Last Friday, right? Speaking of Frank and also speaking of the ladies.
Yeah.
We had the idea. Now, this did not end up happening, but chat, should this be a thing, to take some pictures for Frank's dating profiles, to drive around to different places and make them look like
I've done that. In college, I would do. In college, I would do that. I'd go out. I was in the nursing program in college, so a lot of my friends were girls. So we'd go out and they'd take pictures for me for Tinder and stuff when I was in college. Yeah, it was fun. It was funny vibes. We went to Walmart and I would just like find different jackets I liked and take pictures in different jackets and like take different outfits. It was fun. It was an entertaining time or experience. That's not the right word for it, but it was fun. It
would be fun to do a Tinder stream. I don't
Pal
know.
is brutal.
We got to look into that.
We did. My dad's Pal is.
It would probably not be good
as well.
It would not be good for me. I would not be very kind. Did I freeze?
Maybe Sam might have frozen there. Catching up with the chat. My dad dropping the Pal in the chat. Pal is not great either. Louis saying I hate Pal. Pal is Pal, buddy. It's just I call my kids
little tease for you guys. When March rolls around, we'll have to do a bracket of like demeaning things to be called like that.
We can do some brackets in March.
We have one bracket that has been cemented as something we're going to do.
Catching up in the chat here. William in the chat asking, can someone please let Joe know drop coverage isn't working? That was frustrating against the Bucks to see Bam get to that mid-range a bunch of times. I thought they adjusted a little bit at times when they
couldn't defend the pick and roll. They had to have Pritchard on Bam on a switch, and it just
didn't work.
Ugly.
That was really ugly.
It's just the personnel you had on that one. The problem to me was on the offensive end that they had nothing going. Now
that was the
Williams right. The drop coverage does not work, and it's not good for you. You saw it against the Warriors, and you saw it against the Clippers when they were out west in those back-to-back games they lost. That is a problem.
Luis in the chat saying, "I hate."
People really don't talk about harassment enough, and that's terrible.
No, he's being sarcastic.
I know he is.
I was like, wait a second. Oh, okay. Absolute beast here. Luis getting complimented too much. William, like you said, what do you think of the drop coverage defense? I think in the Heat game,
it shouldn't happen.
Like Sam said, though, I think in the Heat game it was a matter of personnel. Like you kind of have to play with what you got.
I think that's the most we've seen it this year is when there's personnel issues.
Well, no, when we saw it a lot was when Blake was the starting center, and it was so bad against the Warriors and the Clippers. That's what it was the worst. But I think
that's what I mean. It was a personnel thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think it'll be better.
Ben, big market tease in the chat. I will give you the English version of slang names. Oh, Ben, man. What is the most demeaning thing for an English person to call another English person? An English man to call another English man?
Let us
Chap.
Chap. Phoenix in the chat, catching up while Ben responds. How you feeling about the half court sets with the stagger stuff? Spamming every time I tune into the Celtics game. Luis says
Luis is fire. Luis is a fire chat member.
Love Luis. Tune into the streams if you're listening on audio platforms. Sorry, it was Phoenix. We're gonna answer. How do you feel about the half court stats with the stagger stuff? I mean, it's good to like get different actions for Tatum, like get him different looks and stuff. But like when you're going to get up against zone, you just have to move the ball. You have to move guys to the nail and to the free throw line, like to get open. And the Celtics just kind of divert back to isolation offense with no movement. And I think that's the issue. Like when they're running sets like this, I think it's been successful. It's just when the defense adjusts, they don't adjust quickly enough to match it. And then it leads to transition opportunities and missed shots lead to the Heat running, et cetera, et cetera. So I think when they're flowing in offense like this, it works, but they just don't adjust quick enough into this kind of offense.
I'd really like it if they knew how to play against the zone. It's only been 4 seasons.
Would be helpful.
Figure it out. You lost a playoff series because of it. Figure it out.
William saying the Celtics guards are getting destroyed off the dribble all season. Al's not a shot blocker, and Rob doesn't play enough to make a difference. Excuse me. I will say,
I
I
don't know
think
if that's
Jaylen.
completely true.
I've seen Jaylen get beat off the dribble a decent amount. I wrote about it. I think D White gets beat off the dribble, but Derek White has been a great shot blocker from behind. Like Derek White will get behind guys who get past him. He did it last night. He got a block shot, and Al is not a shot blocker. No, he's older. And I think Rob, the issue with Rob you're saying here, Will, is that I think Rob will play more, but it's not worth them ramping him up so quickly right now, right? You want to be careful because you want him healthy for the playoffs. So I think that's important as well.
Celtics, by the way, 5th in the league in defensive rating, so they can't be that bad.
They're up there. They're getting better.
And this is after they were playing like me and the boys on defense.
Yes. Ben saying too many to count, Sam, but Mug is a clean one. Does not like Mug.
Phoenix also, saying, speaking of English people,
yeah,
me and the fellows went to England last summer. And speaking of aforementioned Frank had a very long hairstyle at the time.
I remember.
The locals did not like that. He was getting dirty looks everywhere he went.
Is
that a
fire.
thing, Ben? Do they frown upon that? He was very self-conscious. He felt as if he was getting the side eye everywhere we went.
Frank getting the side eyed for his hair. That is amazing. William saying coaching matters in the playoffs. Are you comfortable with Joe? I know Luis has voiced his concerns this stream. I haven't seen anything where I'm super worried with Joe, but like Sam said, like you can't really judge something until you've seen it.
Yesterday is the first time I'm kind of concerned, just because they completely melted because Miami made an adjustment. That's why.
At the same time, like the Celtics could very easily. We were talking about these same concerns against the Nuggets and the Thunder right at the beginning of the year. Then they ripped off a 9-game win streak, right? So like a week from now, if the Celtics start to play better again, we could not even be talking about this game. But like Sam said, this is kind of the first time all season, and I agree.
We got to talk about something. We got to talk about something.
Exactly.
They just stood there for the last 8 minutes and threw
numbers
the ball.
lie. Fifth, really. What do your eyes say? The eyes say they've been a lot better on defense. Like honestly,
fine.
Like they've improved
especially
a lot
as of
since
late.
Rob has been back. I've said it multiple times. I think Derek White's one of the best defensive guards in the league. You have point of attack Marcus Smart, says Phoenix, as he points out here. I think Rob helps. I think they'll be able to play more switch defense when it matters with the personnel they have once everybody's healthy. Like, I mean, the fully healthy Celtics went on a 9-game win streak, and I don't know how many of those games were defensive stalwart games, but they held the Warriors to a pretty good number in regulation.
Even yesterday,
right? Like, yeah, even yesterday was fine. They held the Raptors, even with the shorthanded squad. Like, let me look at the Celtics schedule here.
They only gave up 104 against the Raptors, gave up 98 against Miami yesterday, and if they just had their head out of their ass on offense, they'd win that game.
106 against Charlotte, but I mean, it's Charlotte. 98 against Brooklyn with the Kyrie, and they've been playing pretty well, even though KD's out. It was 118 against Golden State, but that was an overtime game, so that's not
regulation was 106.
Beat Chicago, that was 99. Beat Luka, held them to 95. Right, like they've had a lot of good defensive games lately. Even going back to the end of last year, 102 Houston, and I mean Houston stinks obviously, but 110 against the Clippers is under average. Right, Minnesota 109, 92 Orlando in the loss. Like they've been holding teams pretty consistently to under 120. And that doesn't sound like a feat, but 120 is the average this year, right? So you have to add the context of like the top defense in the league this year. Like defenses aren't holding teams to under 100 anymore. That's just not.
They're actually tied for fourth.
Yeah. So I think it's been really, really good. And Phoenix saying drop coverage is still king. And I think drop coverage works in certain scenarios, but when Bam Adebayo is just hitting mid-range after mid-range, you really got to chill. So there is that. Catching up again. In my bucket list, Justin says, see an NBA game on another continent. That'd be cool.
My mom is expanding.
Really? Where'd you see
London, 2018
awesome.
Celtics. I have the thing in the other room. I'm not going to go get it because I don't want to leave the stream. I have the program. Cool. It has Fultz, Ben Simmons, and Embiid, and Kyrie, Horford, and Hayward. Maybe was the last one on there.
Amazing.
Or maybe I think it was Jaylen Brown.
Ben saying that my hair was like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo when I was younger.
I would say, Frank, not a mullet, a mop at that time.
It was very mop-like. Catching up in the chat, I'm going to the game in Philly on the 25th of Feb. That's going to be a good one. Always going to be a fun time when those two teams play.
I'm going on the 8th when they're here.
I was going to go to that game, but I think I've said this is my mom's birthday, so I'll be home. I will be home for that game.
Yes.
Knicks tomorrow. Andrew,
they better slap them around tomorrow. I'll be really mad if they lose that one.
Justin asking in the chat, what is your dream version of the Warriors KD signing for the Celtics?
It would have been KD in 2016. That was it for me. I would have liked that.
if you're talking like now, right? Like if the Celtics could have any signing right now, I would probably go with a really like if the Celtics have unlimited money and we're talking about any player in the league, like I'd really want an elite wing. Like I'd want somebody who can step in at the 3 and the 4. You can play Marcus, JB, Jayson Tatum, Rob, and then a wing. Or honestly, actually, I'd probably want an Al Horford replacement. Give me prime
Yeah,
Al
I
Horford.
was gonna let you finish, bastard. I was about to take
Well,
that one.
I thought. I mean, you can
Son of a
talk about it too. I
bitch.
think that'd be top notch. Like if you can find something like that.
Who would it be?
Bam.
Wouldn't be.
Maybe it might be Bam. Bam would be pretty
I don't
fire.
know. I
He
mean,
can't shoot.
Bam's
But
very good, but I don't know if he doesn't shoot enough, like to be the Horford guy. You know,
he could play defense like Horford on defense. But I mean, I know
maybe Siakam. Is that it for you, Jack?
Siakam would
Maybe
be cool. He needs the ball in his hands a little bit too much for me. Porzingis would be kind of cool.
Ben Simmons.
I mean, I know it's not KD obviously, but like if you add Porzingis to this team, you let him, but he can't really switch as much as you'd want him to. Like I'd really want an Al Horford type. And I think you'd have to try to find somebody like that if you want my honest.
Did you want
opinion.
Towns?
No,
Is
he's
he
not
the next best thing? I'm trying to think.
No,
I'm just
no.
like trying to flip through in my head, think of who.
I mean, Giannis would be pretty cool. Mobley would be phenomenal.
That's it.
Mobley would
That's
be
who it
perfect.
is.
If I could add any player, maybe Evan Mobley would be a perfect addition. Yeah, that'd be great. You get the defense.
He says I'd love to pay Ben Simmons $40 million.
Luis coming in with the shots. Yeah, I think Mobley would probably be up there. Andrew Wiggins, excuse me, on this team would be great. I know he's not big enough to guard the big guys, but like you have that defense at the 4, you have his shooting, you have his scoring. Like I think Andrew Wiggins would be phenomenal on this Celtics team. Jaren Jackson Jr. That is my choice over Evan Mobley. Jaren Jackson Jr. would be absolutely amazing. He's shooting 39% from deep this year. He's the defensive player of the year. He's averaging 3.3 blocks a night. Rob and Jaren Jackson Jr. would be the best defensive front court in the league.
Good answer. It's like family
Jaren
feud.
Jackson. Yeah, right. Jaren Jackson.
Good answer. Everyone
Lock
claps.
it in. A starting lineup of Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Robert Williams would not only be the best defensive lineup in the league, it would be the best defensive lineup we've seen in the last 10 years. That'd be absolutely insane.
Yeah, well, there you go. Jack nailed it. I think Mobley's still good.
Mm-hmm.
Mobley's phenomenal
too. He'd be great. Ben talking about some London b-ball. London Lions have Sam Decker playing for them this year. American owners.
You ever go to games there, Ben? Are they any good? Like, is it fun? I've seen like people tweet about it. It looks like it's in a high school gym.
What's the atmosphere like?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like, I'm not like being like sarcastic. I am curious. Mm-hmm. Has it grown? Do you think it's grown over there as of like the last 10 years or whatever?
I know there's a couple English players.
Well, OG's technically from like there.
Jeremy Sohan too.
The guy on the Spurs. Yep.
Yeah, he played in the English league.
So like, that'd be kind of cool.
There's that. Luis saying Dino Raja was my favorite. I smoked a cig with him.
Spectacular.
I love Luis. Luis, I love you. You're amazing. Absolute beast. Catching up, William in the chat. Celtics have to up their basketball IQ to win a championship. Was anyone surprised that Jayson Tatum made that pass against Miami? It was bad. We talked about this earlier in the stream. I mean, you got to be better than that. He said as much after the game. He said, I can't let us down like that. But I try my best not to put too much stock in these games. Like, and I know it was an important game. And like Sam said, and I agree with him, you can't lose that game with the position you put yourself in. But at the same time, right, we had these same exact complaints at the beginning of last season, at this time last year, and the Celtics won an incredible run.
Being upset also doesn't mean you're like thinking the world's ending. It just means you're playing the cards that are dealt to you. We're doing a stream. They just lost 2 games in a frustrating fashion.
Of course.
Doesn't mean the season's over. It's just annoying.
Of course. I also think it was incredible the run that went on last year, but you also have to remember like that type of like, what was it, 36-9 run? Like that's not going to happen every year. That is not a normal thing. Like they were ridiculous. And like, I understand the standard that they set is extremely high for themselves, but it's an impossible standard to meet unless they're like the best team in league history, right? Which you thought they could be at the start of the year, but
telling you, strict
they're gonna have up and
right
downs.
Here.
By the way, call me Luis. Luis is too exotic for me. Okay, you can be okay, Luis. Hey, blame Landon for that though. Landon told us it was Luis. So
William's saying what point guard be able to control his team? Smart.
Marcus Smart.
He does excellent.
And I mean the perfect example was yesterday, right? Like you didn't have him for the last
They
2
miss
games.
him.
I mean, you know who's second best might be? Probably Brogdon. He'd probably want
Might be.
Brogdon there as well.
Brogdon did a good job in that Toronto game.
He was great. Yeah,
He
you
was
need
good.
you really miss somebody like that. And I mean, if you want to talk about like the same context of Jaren Jackson Jr., like Marcus Smart is up there, but you could also ask for like a Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday would be great for this
Halliburton.
team. He's awesome. Tyrese Halliburton would be great. Prime Kyle Lowry, maybe not right now.
No.
I know.
I'm not really convinced Lowry was ever that good.
He was a good player. He was a great
He's
player.
fine.
He's a Hall of Famer.
Well, yeah, because Kawhi
Pissed
got
off.
him a ring. There you go. Second best
He was
player
good
on a
that year.
championship team.
Yeah, of course. Right? That's good. That's impressive.
Championship team that was Kawhi and the boys, but nonetheless, a championship
We do need
team.
to talk about that quickly. Hold up. Let me find the quote.
I almost brought it up earlier. Francisco asking if Jalen's still on the injury list. Tomorrow, the only player that's going to be out is Marcus Smart and Gallinari.
And Gallinari, obviously. But let me pull up this quote.
Nick Nurse was our coach for the London Towers, but sadly, football is king over here. We played Duke, and our fans are very polite. Some top EuroLeague teams fans here are really lively. Nick Nurse, rat. I know Ben in the chat has said he's a nice guy, but he pisses me off beyond comprehension. Always standing there with his mouth open.
Dennis Rodman on this team is number 18, 100%. See, I think that'd be okay, but I think you really need 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
I think you really need the threes. I'm not saying Rodman would be fine, but
I know we're talking about dream editions, but for the most part, team's fine.
Larry Bird, give me Larry. Give me Larry Legend on this team. We want to talk about, I'm sure the chat has all heard Sam said the quote, me and the boys, or, stuff like that. One of our common things is we like to talk about Luka and the boys. An actual quote from Spencer Dinwiddie here. Luka is obviously far and away our superstar, and we have other guys who are obviously, I'll share a screen real quick.
I was in disbelief when I received this message yesterday.
Phenomenal quote. But Dinwiddie said this, but because there's not another superstar, it's not apples to apples. It's always going to be Luka and the boys. So you just got to be mentally tough and be built for the court. Dinwiddie talking about the difficulties of wanting to, excuse me, the difficulties of playing with a superstar like that, and everyone always saying, oh, he needs help when you're there and you're trying your best. And Dinwiddie having a good season. I mean, he's averaging 17 points, shooting 40% from deep, secondary ball handling. He's playing great. But to hear him say it's always going to be Luka and the boys is just a phenomenal quote. And I thought it was
great.
Funny.
That's cover photo worthy.
It is amazing. It's always going to be Luka and the boys. Just a great quote from Spencer Dinwiddie. It's nice that he has that self-awareness. Let's see. William saying, have you guys seen any game this season with both teams fully healthy? I'm watching some great street clothes. The Warriors
opening night
was pretty close. Oh, no, Rob wasn't there. No, Rob. That wasn't even fully healthy.
That's true, Rob. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
The Warriors game was probably the closest you're going to get, and they still didn't have Kuminga and Wiseman. So it's like, it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, Wiseman's not playing a whole lot, but
it's tough. Ben saying Rodman played 3 times for Nurse and Brighton. That's actually pretty cool. Landon saying congrats to Sam about the Luka and the boys. Sam influenced. Dinwiddie listens to the pod. Hello, Spencer. How are we doing? Heliocentrism is garbage. When has a heliocentric offense ever worked? I think it's gotten close. I mean, those James Harden teams were conference finals teams. I know if we're talking championship, you're probably looking Kawhi. Maybe that Raptors team was pretty heliocentric around Kawhi.
I really think that Rockets team fumbled. I mean, it's not.
They should have.
They should have fumbled. They missed a bunch of threes. Like I complain all the time about Game 4 in the finals last year with the Celtics missing a bunch of threes down the stretch. But if I was a Rockets fan, that's the type of stuff that gives you PTSD. You don't want them shooting threes anymore. Yeah.
Maybe Dirk, that Dirk Mavericks team, like he was the guy, right? If you really want to talk about title. And Lewis asking, does Luka win a chip in his career? I think so. I think he'll get one. I think he's too good not to.
I'd say so.
I think maybe this is a hot take. I think if Luka does not win a championship, he'll go down as the best player ever in NBA history to not win a championship.
Who is it now?
Stockton and Malone, both of whom are crazy and or an asshole who I don't like. Probably one of those two, right? Barkley, maybe if you want to talk about it. Steve
People
Nash
say Iverson. That's what I thought you would say.
Iverson's definitely up there.
I'm not convinced Iverson was really that great.
Let me Google best NBA players to never win a ring. Barkley,
Wilt got one. Yeah, Ewing maybe.
Stockton, Chris Paul. James Harden is probably up there at this point. Like,
I don't know. Harden feels like one of those guys that just, I don't know. He's whatever. Phoenix thinks it's Harden.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you trade Luka for Tatum? I know it will never happen. Like, would I trade Tatum for Luka? Probably not. I don't think I would. I don't think the Mavericks would trade Luka for Tatum. You know what I'm saying? I don't think either team would make that trade. And I just don't. I'll put it this way: I wouldn't trade Tatum's defense for Luka's insane playmaking and ability to control the game. And I don't think the Mavericks would trade Luka's insane ability to control the game for Tatum's defense. I think they fit well where they're at. So I think the Celtics with Luka might be a little bit worse, and I think the Mavericks with Tatum might be a little bit worse, if that makes sense.
Yeah, people are not thrilled about the Iverson thing. You know, he's fine.
Landon says grow up.
I don't think he sucks, but he might not be better than those other guys.
No, AI was disgusting.
Yeah, no, he doesn't suck. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know if he's as good as the other guys. A lot of people, when you ask them that question, will say him.
Yeah, he's up. I mean, he's up there. That Raps team weren't as heliocentric as you think. They had a lot of variation with Larry PNR. I agree with you there. Maybe I misspoke. Excuse me, misspoke. I got the hiccups. My dad's saying Luka for JB. I mean, yeah, I'd trade JB for Luka.
Yeah, Jack's ready to get him out here anyway.
No, I knew you were gonna say that. Tell me, would you trade JB for Luka? Exactly, you got.
It would be a shit show trying to watch them play together, but
different levels. No, yeah, that'd be yikes. Anyways, do you want to do a couple cards and get out of here?
I'll tell you what. I was at the gym this morning, and
story time.
I was on the treadmill as I recover from multiple ailments.
Drop some campfire emojis in the chat. We'll do story time.
Campfire story. I like that. This isn't a massive story, but they have the TVs, right? They got the TVs in front of you. You look at the TVs.
Yes.
And I'm, of course, at a Planet Fitness. Is a Planet Fitness commercial. Now, this is the best commercial I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
They do not have it on their YouTube because I looked right at the beginning of the stream because I wanted to show it because it's so funny. And it's like all these people that it's like whatever, they go to the gym and it shows them feel better. Now there's this one guy in the commercial that has gone to the gym and his the way that they portray him feeling better is he's like real close to the camera. And his bed's in the background, and there's like some girl on the bed that looks exhausted. And he's just got the biggest grin on his face. He's just like an average looking dude, and he's got like the biggest smirk on his face. And he's like, "Yeah, that's right. She's all tuckered out over there. Look at me. I got cardio now." I wish I could find it. I'm so upset it's not on their YouTube. I looked at their most recent ad is not that.
That is.
But funny. I was just like, I was running, and I was like, is anyone seeing this? He's got like the biggest grin on his face.
Jeez, Lewis. Yeah, maybe
I don't know if it was that, but he just tuckered her out. She couldn't handle it.
I've got a funny commercial story if we want to get into it quick.
Before you start, they got to get rid of the Mac Jones commercials.
Oh,
he's terrible.
The Arbella one.
He can't play football. He can't act. Oh my God, he's terrible.
I hope Brady comes back. I mean, I know you don't, because then there'd be too much.
I like Brady. Brady's fine.
I think that'd be fun. Brady and DeAndre Hopkins. I know everyone's hoping for that, so we'll pray. But one of my friends from high school is an aspiring actor. He was in musical theater. He's done plays and stuff, and he's like trying to get commercials, et cetera, et cetera. So,
Landon says Whopper.
Whopper. That's still the best commercial.
Landon.
For those of you in Massachusetts, you know Stop and Shop. Do you know Stop and Shop?
Stop and Shop's fire. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I asked him. He's like, "Oh, I did a Stop and Shop commercial, right? I don't know if I got it. They would have just aired it, but et cetera, et cetera. They gave me some money for the audition, and I don't know if I got it. And so I Googled Stop and Shop commercial. I'll pull it up here for us to look at briefly. Let me share audio. Okay, so this is the Stop and Shop commercial.
Kale.
Okay.
Chips. Flip.
Looking here. He goes, "My job was to hold
Nature's
some fish."
promise.
So that's him?
Yeah.
That's like the Seinfeld where George becomes a hand model.
Yeah.
Now, if you're listening, this is a video of a gloved. First of all, you can't even see his hand. He's wearing a glove.
Yeah. So my buddy
put that on the reel. He didn't drop
one
it.
job was to hold a piece of salmon, and it was for like, what is this? 2 seconds. He's in the ad, And it's just his hand holding a piece of salmon.
I don't even know if I've seen a Stop and Shop commercial. Like around here, they don't even have to advertise.
No,
It's just what you go to the store.
He didn't know it aired. He just like I sent it to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, that's me, haha." And so like it was funny that he got into it. Francisco proposing a trade in the chat. Would you trade Jack for John from Celtics All Access? You can ask them if you want to.
Is that
John Zanis?
Oh, okay.
John Zanis. Go ask the CLNS fellas if you want about us, but Sam can answer that. I guess I can't answer about it.
I like Jack. I like talking to Jack. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, come on. Don't try to trade me, Francisco.
Jack and I are friends.
Lewis
I'm very
saying,
loyal.
Lewis, I was a hand model for casting couch.
Oh, there's
Lewis.
seriously a Seinfeld where George becomes a hand model,
Phenomenal.
and then he like burns his hand on an iron and ruins his career. It's a very
Landon
tragic
saying,
tale.
Luke Cornett over Mac Jones. Lewis saying, Luke and Mac are twins. Lewis backing me up saying Jack is solid. I appreciate it. Why are they trying to force Peyton Manning and Eli Manning on the public? Two of the most boring guys. I actually love the Manning streams. I know Sam probably doesn't.
Well, that's why, William. There's your answer.
I love the Manning streams. I think they're really cool. That's a Tatum Lucas situation. Jack for Zanis. You know, I'll take the compliment. His hand is stiff. No Robert De Niro there. Criticizing my friend.
Yeah,
Zach.
dude, he looks like he's allergic to fish.
I give him a break.
He's afraid of it.
Give him a break. All right, let's do. You want to do a
cards.
few cards? All right, let's roll through some cards here. Also, sorry, I'm only gonna say because it's a sick name. We got a new subscriber to the channel, Playoff Al Beast. Fire name if you're watching.
Well, if you're watching, thank you. It's been a good stream. We've had a consistent crowd in here.
Amazing name. Yeah, it's a good time.
Next Monday, I think we have to confirm not confirm it. We set it up and everything, but Celtics Jeopardy, be on the lookout.
Yep, Celtics Jeopardy live stream on the 30th, I believe, right?
Yep.
All right, be on the lookout for that. We'll be here with some guests. It'll be a fun time. Watch out for the tweets.
You can participate in the chat.
Yes. All right. Cards time. We'll do 3 or 5 or however many.
Do
maybe
5.
we want to do. We'll depend on how good they are. Let's see. First card of the day. First card, 5 points. Won 3 NBA titles while playing for the Celtics. All right. Well, this could be about 90.
Yeah. Let's see.
I don't know. While playing for the Celtics too. So
do the next one.
4 points here. Twice named NBA Sixth Man of the Year. Ooh. I feel like that should.
I know who it is.
You type in private chat.
Yeah,
Sam's gonna embarrass me once again. Phenomenal.
You're gonna be upset that you don't know this one.
I have a guess off the dome, but I don't want to make myself look like an idiot. Has his number retired by both the Celtics and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. This should also give it away, but I just don't know.
Oh my God, Jack.
I don't know. I don't know.
This is well, I'll let you figure it out.
Called the best player I played against because he was unstoppable offensively and gave me nightmares on defense by Charles Barkley. I have a guess,
The
and
chat doesn't even know.
I had a guess at 4 points, but I didn't want to look like an idiot, so I didn't want to say it. Served as head coach of the Timberwolves and the Rockets. Oh, is it? Okay, yeah, it's Kevin McHale. Shit,
that's bad. That's bad.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I didn't
the
know
sixth
that.
man you might not have known, but when Minnesota was a giveaway.
I didn't know. What'd you get?
He's
4
like
points?
the only guy from Minnesota that's played in the league. The rest of them all play hockey.
I had no idea. Lewis got it in the chat. Ben got it in the chat. I had a couple Havlicek and Bird.
He won back to back, and then Walton won.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he only had 3 rings with the Celtics. I thought he had more than that for some reason.
Well, they only won. Bird's only got 3.
Oh, okay, true. Fair enough. All right, 4 points for Sam, 1 for me. I'm only 46 points behind Sam. I'm going to run that bit every time. Next card here. Born in Florida in 1971 and played high school basketball in Old Saybrook, Connecticut. Nothing for me. I've got nothing. So you get a hazard to guess here, Sam, or should we go to 4 points?
I have a guess, but I'm trying to think if we had this guy already. So I'm not going to guess yet.
4 points. Played in each NBA All-Star game from 1995 to 1998.
Oh, I would have been wrong.
I've got nothing.
Connecticut.
I've got nothing. Next.
No, I don't know.
Named America East Conference Player of the Year in 93. That just doesn't help. I don't think that helps. I don't know if it helps you.
No, I don't know.
All right.
That's too bad.
Average 28 points per game as a junior at Hartford College.
No, we're screwed. This is bad.
1 point. In addition to the Celtics, played for the Bucks, Sonics, Knicks, Rockets, and Clippers in a career spanning from 1993 to 2006. Is this? This isn't Antoine Walker, right? Am I crazy?
Can you repeat that? No, it's not him.
In addition to the Celtics, played for the Bucks, Sonics, Rockets, Knicks, and Clippers. Oh, we've had Sam Cassell, I think. I don't think this is Sam Cassell. Is it? No, I don't know. I've got nothing.
I don't know.
Vin Baker.
Oh, we wouldn't have got that. Nope. Did chat know it? Yeah. Wow.
Clutch of the absolute beast, Andrew, in the chat, getting Vin Baker. I'm gonna add Andrew fucking 5 points. I don't know when you got it, but beast, Andrew.
Good job.
Legend. Good shit. All right. Third one. Third card of the day. I don't know why I show them every time, but I'm going to continue to do it. 6'7" forward who was born in Harper, Kansas, and graduated from Colorado as the fourth leading scorer and rebounder in Buffalo history. I saw Colorado.
I don't know that one.
Derek White, but it's 6'7".
Yeah, it isn't him. I'm
4
taking
points.
Andrew's comment down. Hold on.
Selected 6th overall by the. Huh?
Nothing. No names. Nothing spoiled. I just
scared me.
hit a comment. Sorry.
Sam scared me there. Selected 6th overall by the Kansas City Omaha Kings in the 74 draft.
Well, that's enough to make you quit.
Yeah, right? Okay. Cool.
No, I have no idea.
3 points. Played 13 seasons in the NBA, spending his final 3 years as a member of the Celtics. Nope. I got nothing. 2 points.
Yeah, I don't know.
Earned NBA championship rings in 84 and 86, coming off the bench for KC Jones and the Celtics. So he's a bench player in 84 and 86. Still nothing here.
I'm going to guess.
God damn it.
Yeah, I'm going to guess.
These segments are just turning into Jack looks like an idiot, and it's fine.
Not really. This one's not easy.
Scored 26 points for the Celtics in Game 1 of the 85 finals, hitting all 11 shots he took, including 4 3-pointers, in the 148-114 Memorial Day Massacre of the Lakers. I don't know. It is Scott Wedman.
I had that. Private chat.
How did you get that? So
Number 8.
2 points for you?
2 points.
I don't know how you got that. Did any of the chatters get it?
No, nobody got it.
Wow, I should know that. Henderson, Peach Basket, Dave's brothers.
It's true. Do 2 more. We've had some tough ones.
Landon saying he has a Vin Baker jersey. I mean, that is interesting. I've got some.
Jack's had all the jerseys.
That I do. Next card. Born in Jacksonville, Florida in 1968, and played college hoops for the Jacksonville Dolphins. All right. Another one where Jack is going to get embarrassed. I've got nothing. Next.
Yeah, next.
Coached 2 different WNBA teams long before his daughter was selected 9th overall by the Connecticut Suns in the 2018 WNBA draft. No clue. Got nothing.
No, I don't know.
3 points. Played for the Celtics from 1990 to 1998 before stints with the Raptors and Magic. Again.
Oh, I know who it is.
God damn it. 2 points. In 2005, or earned a 1-year job at ESPN by winning the reality show Dream Job. Nothing. Executed a no-look left-handed jam in the final round to win the 91 slam dunk contest. No idea.
D Brown.
It is D Brown. Is that 3 points for you?
I actually should have.
Andrew Wright again?
Yeah, it was only 3. I should have known at Jacksonville. I knew something about that did something for me, but I didn't know who it was.
Impressive for the Knicks fan to be getting these
good for
these questions. C Brown. All right, last card of the day. Once again, show it to the camera. I have the hiccups here. 1 second. It was coming out. All right, 5 points. I already see the year, and Jack is out. Born in Kettering, Ohio, in July 9th, 1957. So, big yikes, because I have absolutely no idea.
I don't know yet.
4 points, an All-American at Dayton in 97, who was an All-Star in 83 and 84. I should know. I feel like I should know it by
Does that
Dayton,
mean 77?
An All-American at Dayton in 1979, who was an NBA All-Star in 1983 and 1984.
NBA All-Star.
I don't know.
Keep going.
2 points, or 3 points, sorry. Joined the Celtics in a February 1998, joined the Celtics in a February 1988 trade, leaving the Portland as the leading scorer in Trailblazers history. Oh, is this?
This one I don't know.
Wrong. I'm gonna look like an idiot if I'm wrong, but I'm going to write it in the chat.
Well, I'm gonna go to the brand then.
I'm going to write it in the chat, but I'm going to feel like a moron, and I'll be okay with feeling like a moron if I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm really upset that I don't know this.
Served as GM of the Cavaliers from 99 to 2005. I think I got it wrong.
I have no idea.
1 point. Father played briefly in the NBA in the 1950s, and his brother won 3 straight NBA titles with the Bulls from 91 to 93. Yeah, I guessed Bill Walton, which is wrong because I saw Blazers. But
I don't know. I'm
anything?
upset.
Jim Paxson. There you go. No idea. Robert Paxson won.
Let's do one more.
All right. I guess
Andrew knew.
Absolute beast. Andrew's on fire today. I should have added his own scoring. He might be ahead of Tim by now. Tim's only played a few times. I guess Walton because I saw Blazers and I was like, maybe it makes sense, but I am dumb. We'll do another card. We'll do it until somebody gets it. 5 points. Won the 1960 Ivy League championship while playing for Dartmouth College. I feel like I should know Dartmouth, but I don't. I just don't.
This is a disaster.
4 points. Inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame and the College Basketball Hall of Fame, both in 2006.
Oof,
Nothing.
That's a long time.
Helped form the Big East Conference while he was the athletic director at Providence College.
The athletic director at PC?
I have no idea. This is brutal. We might have to do another card because I just don't know.
How is this person related to the Celtics then?
Shall
I have a guess, but I don't
know. You want to put your guess in or you want 2 points?
No, keep going.
Served as CEO of the Boston Celtics from 1990 to 1994.
All right, I'm going to guess.
All right, well, then I'll go 1 point. First commissioner of the Big East, filling the role from 79 to 90. I had no idea.
Dave Gavitt.
Dave Gavitt. Yes,
Dave
sir.
Gavitt Way, right off the highway in Providence.
No idea. 2 points for Sam. Can we do one more? Can we just shoot me? Can we get a 1990s kid, please? I'm dying out here.
I'll tell you what. Did not know he was involved with the Celtics. If you watch PC games, that's the court they play on, Dave Gavitt Court. So that's
there you go.
What it's called.
Legend, Uncle Dan, for gifting us these cards, although they're being mean to me today. Who's the man?
Cooley's going to get something named after him.
Okay, last one. Let's pray for a year that I will know. Born October 14th, 1969 in Detroit, Michigan. I'm in shambles. I am not having a fun day.
Michigan.
Can I go to 4 points? I'm having a disaster.
Yeah.
Left Louisiana Tech in 1992 as the second leading rebounder in program history.
I feel like I should know this, but I don't.
I've got nothing. I'm going to 3 points. Named to the All-NBA defensive second team twice while playing for the Heat and once as a member of the Hornets.
All right, I know who it is.
I have a guess, but I don't remember if he played for the Celtics. I'm going to look like an idiot if he did. But I'm going to guess anyways. Is it morning?
It is PJ Brown.
Shit. I saw Hornets and Heat, but so I only knew Alonzo Mourning. Unfortunate. PJ Brown, 3 points for Sam. The next clues were grabbed 6 rebounds and scored 10 points, 8 more than his season average in Game 7 of the 2008 Eastern Conference Semifinals. Signed with the Celtics on February 27, 2008, earning his only NBA championship ring, then retired. I wouldn't have gotten it, so it is fine by me. All right, we're done with cards today. It was a shambles for Jack. Not a fun day. Andrew with PJ Brown in the chat. Andrew, absolute beast.
Andrew's a monster.
Legend.
Andrew, be here for Celtics Jeopardy.
Yes.
I want to see how you do.
You'll kill it. All right. As usual, my one plug is going to be subscribe to the YouTube for all the kind people watching the live stream today. Make sure to hit that sub button, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things to boost the algorithm. We appreciate you. For those listening on audio platforms, come on over to the YouTube. How About Them Celtics? Subscribe. We appreciate it. And thank you very much. And I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you are on YouTube at How About Them Celtics. Make sure you subscribe. We're climbing. Also, if you're looking to go to any Celtics game or other event, use SeatGeek, use promo code HBTC to save yourself $20 on your first purchase. Let us help you go to see what you want to see. That's HBTC. How About Them Celtics? Besides that, follow us. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, How About Them C's. Like us on Facebook, How About Them Celtics podcast. You'll get all the streams there. The other platforms, you'll get shorts and whatnot. You can follow Jack at Jack Simone NBA. He's doing all kinds of good work at Celtics blog and Heavy. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. I'm on Heavy and I'm complaining. That's it. Bye.
All righty. Thank you, stream. We appreciate you guys. Andrew saying see you guys tomorrow at the Garden. I'll be at the Garden up in my 9th floor seats. Thank you. Justin, thank you. Lewis, thank you. Landon, thank you. Ben, thank you. Francisco, thank you. Everybody.
I didn't know we were
appreciate it
still
very
live.
much. We are still live.
I
Sam was about to say some dumb shit.
I wasn't really. I don't have anything to say that's like really gonna get me in trouble. But I did not know we were still live.
Yes, we can go now. Okay, you have earned my subscription. Thank you, Francisco.
All right.
We appreciate you. All right.
That's what happens when you get up here for an hour and 20 and just murder.
Yeah,
Fist
Francisco
bumps.
gets
All right.
it. Fist bumps. But yeah, we're here 30 minutes before tomorrow's game. So we will see you guys before the game tomorrow. Celtics, Knicks.
I gotta tell you, I wish EDP didn't get canceled because the picture of him with the fist bump is fantastic.
You can't be doing what he did, though.
No, can't do it.
All right. We will see you guys right here at 7 p.m. tomorrow for pregame show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye-bye.